Here we're going to talk about slopes of lines. Hopefully this is something that you've looked at before and it'll be just a little bit of review, but if it's not, here we go. Slope of a line is kind of telling you the angle or the direction that a line on the coordinate grid is heading, if you want to think of it that way. But remember, slope is, I like to think of it as the rise over the run. So we're going to figure out how much that line rises, we're going to figure out how much that line runs, we're going to write it as a fraction. Now there's a little formula to figure that out, which just says take your two y values and subtract them, take your two x values and subtract them. As long as you do it in the same order, you'll have your rise, you'll have your run. I put it this way too because it does not matter which order you do it in, as long as you, like I said before, subtract them in the same order. Now here's a little example. I have my line, it's on the coordinate grid. I just have to figure out the rise and I have to figure out the run. Now on this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of take the fast approach. Being I have it on the grid, I can just do a little counting, and these are nice integer values. I'm going to calculate my rise, so I'm going up 1, 2, 3, 4. The rise is 4. And now I can figure out my run as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 for my run. So my slope then, I'm going to write it as the rise over the run. Now you have to be a little bit careful on this approach because if you just do it this way you might lose the negative sign in there. But when you look at your line, it's going up and it's going right. Up being positive, right being positive. So I'd have a positive 4 over a positive 6. Now when I simplify that, I end up with a slope of 2/3. Now had this line gone up and to the left, well, now my 6 would have been negative, so I'd have 4 over a negative 6. It would have left me with a negative 2/3 of the slope. So just be careful when you take that approach. Now when I come to this one, now I'm just giving you 2 points, the 5, negative 2, and the negative 3, 7. We could go back to what we did on the last one, and we could graph it, and then you could count how far it goes up, count how far it goes right or left, and you'd have your slope. The other way to do it would be to look at basically our slope formula. Subtract our y's, subtract our x's. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my y value from here, the negative 2. I'm going to take my y value from here, and I'm going to subtract those two numbers. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my x values. X value here, x value here. Notice I'm doing this in the same order. So my 5, my negative 3, I need to subtract them. Now it's just a matter of doing a little subtraction here. I end up with negative 9 over 8. Nothing to simplify. The slope of this line is negative 9/8. And that's a quick little lesson on calculating the slope of a line.